Hi, everyone, and welcome to our podcast. I'm Linda.
And I'm Leo. We're here to help you get better at speaking English, one step at a time.
Yes, that's right. Today, we're starting a three-part series on something very important for learning any language, speaking skills.
Speaking skills are all about being able to talk, share your thoughts, ask questions, and respond to others confidently. Whether you're at an elementary level or intermediate, don't worry. We're here to make it simple and fun.
And speaking of simple and fun, let's begin by asking, why is practicing speaking skills so important? What makes it such a big deal when learning English?
Good question, Linda. When you learn a new language, speaking is what lets you connect with others. It's about using the words you know to share ideas, understand other people, and even make new friends.
Absolutely, Leo. Think about it when you're speaking English. You're not just using words, you're sharing a part of yourself. Practicing speaking can help you feel more comfortable, whether you're in a classroom, at work, or even on vacation.
So true, and practicing makes a big difference. The more you practice, the easier it gets. You start with basic sentences, and with time, you'll be able to talk about many different topics.
That's right. It's like learning to play an instrument or learning to cook. The more you do it, the better you get. But for speaking, you don't need special tools, just your voice and a bit of courage.
Yes, courage. Speaking in a new language can feel a little scary at first. You might be worried about making mistakes or not finding the right words. But mistakes are actually a good thing. They mean you're trying, and they help you learn.
Exactly. So, in part one of this podcast series, we're going to talk about some very simple ways to start practicing your speaking skills. These are easy things you can do every day.
And remember, everyone, these tips are for everyone elementary and intermediate levels. So don't worry if you're just starting out. We're keeping it easy.
Let's start with something small, something you can try by yourself. This is a tip we call thinking out loud. Have you heard of it, Leo?
Oh, yes. Thinking out loud is such a helpful way to get comfortable speaking. Basically, when you're alone, maybe in your room or walking, you just talk to yourself out loud in English.
Right. So, for example, you could say, "Today, I feel happy because it's sunny," or "I'm going to make tea now." Just simple sentences about what you're doing or feeling.
Yes, and it can be anything. Talk about your plans for the day or how your day was. You don't need to be perfect. The goal is just to get used to saying things in English.
That's a great tip, Leo. And you don't have to worry about anyone listening or judging. You're just practicing for you.
Absolutely. When you do this, you're helping your brain and your mouth get used to forming English sentences. And that's a big first step.
Now, here's another idea that's really fun, and I think our listeners will enjoy this. It's called shadowing.
Ah, shadowing. This one is a favorite. When you're watching a video in English or listening to someone speak, you try to repeat what they say, almost like you're their shadow.
Exactly. You could watch a simple YouTube video or listen to a podcast, maybe even our podcast. And then, as you listen, try to repeat the words, even the sentences, just as the speaker says them.
Yes, and if it's too fast, just say what you can. The goal is to get comfortable with the rhythm, the flow of English. This helps you sound more natural, like a native speaker.
And you don't need to understand every single word. You're just trying to copy the sounds. It's like practicing a song, you know?
Yes, exactly. You're not worrying too much about meaning, just sound and speed. And the best part? You can do this with any English content, songs, shows, anything you enjoy.
Yes, and the great thing about a partner is that you can both take turns speaking. Maybe one person asks questions, and the other person answers, and then you switch.
Oh yes, practicing with a partner is a fantastic way to improve your speaking. You don't need a lot of time, just a few minutes every day, even over the phone or a quick video call.
And if you don't know anyone who speaks English, you could try language exchange apps. There are many people around the world who want to practice English just like you.
And don't forget, you don't have to talk about complicated topics. Start with simple things like how was your day or what did you eat for lunch?
All right, everyone, we've talked about 3 ways to start practicing your speaking skills today. Just to recap.
Yes, that's true, and often they're excited to help each other learn. So don't be shy to ask around. Having a speaking partner, even just one, can make a big difference.
And remember, the more you practice, the better you'll get. Speaking is a skill, just like any other, and with time, you'll see big improvements.
1. Think out loud. Talk to yourself about your day. 2. Shadowing repeat what you hear from English speakers. 3. Find a speaking partner, someone to practice with, even just a few minutes a day.
Absolutely. Feeling nervous or even afraid to speak is totally normal. So if you're feeling that way, you're not alone. Many people go through the same thing.
Yes, confidence is a huge part of learning any language. Many people feel nervous when they try to speak in a new language. You might worry about making mistakes, or maybe you're afraid others won't understand you. But don't worry, we're here to help you overcome that.
That's right. And remember, confidence isn't something you have or don't have. It's something you build, step by step, with practice and patience.
Exactly, Leo. And here's the good news. With practice, you can feel more comfortable and confident. Today, we'll share some tips that can help you start speaking with less fear and more courage.
Starting small means you don't have to give a long speech or tell a big story right away. You can begin with just a few words or a simple sentence. For example, try saying hello or good morning to someone in English. Small things like this help you get used to using English without feeling too much pressure.
So let's get started with our first tip for building confidence. We call this one, start small.
Exactly. And when you do this, you're giving yourself a small win. It feels good to say something in English, even if it's just a few words. And these small wins help build your confidence.
Yes, if you're at a restaurant, you could say something simple like, "Can I have coffee, please?" Or "Thank you very much." Small phrases, but they help you start using English in real-life situations.
Now, here's our second tip. Focus on communication, not perfection.
And remember, you don't have to be perfect. When you start small, the focus is on trying, not on getting everything right. You're already winning by practicing.
That's right. The main goal of speaking is to communicate, to share your thoughts and understand others. If you can do that, then you're doing great, even if you make a few mistakes along the way.
Yes, this one is really important. Many people feel nervous because they think they have to speak English perfectly without any mistakes. But the truth is, nobody speaks perfectly all the time, not even native speakers.
Yes, and remember, most people are kind and understanding. They know you're learning, and they're usually happy to listen and help. So don't worry too much about being perfect, just focus on getting your message across.
Exactly. So, let's say you're trying to tell someone, "I had breakfast this morning," but maybe you say, "I have breakfast this morning" by mistake. It's okay. The person you're talking to will still understand what you mean.
Absolutely. So don't let the fear of mistakes stop you from speaking. Instead, see each mistake as a chance to learn and grow.
That's such a great tip. Leo, mistakes are a normal part of learning. In fact, making mistakes is one of the best ways to improve.
Oh yes, I love this tip. Speaking in front of a mirror can help you see yourself as you speak. It might feel a little strange at first, but it helps you become more comfortable with how you look and sound when you're speaking English.
Now, our third tip is something fun. Practice speaking with a mirror. Have you heard of this one, Leo?
Exactly. You could try saying things like, "Hello, how are you? Or today, I feel happy because the weather is nice. It can be anything simple. The idea is just to get comfortable with speaking and seeing yourself as you do it.
Yes. When you speak in front of a mirror, you can see your facial expressions, your mouth movements, and even your gestures. It's almost like having a mini conversation with yourself.
Yes, plus, the more you practice, the more natural it starts to feel. Soon, speaking English will feel as normal as talking in your first language.
And practicing in front of a mirror helps you build confidence because you're giving yourself permission to speak without any judgment. It's just you practicing for you.
1. Start small. Say a few simple sentences or phrases in English to practice. 2. Focus on communication, not perfection. Don't worry about.
All right, everyone, we've talked about 3 tips for building confidence today. Let's quickly recap.
Mistakes. Just focus on sharing your thoughts. 3. Practice speaking with a mirror. Speak in front of a mirror to get comfortable with how you sound and look.
And remember, building confidence is a journey. It doesn't happen overnight, but each small step you take is helping you grow.
Exactly. So keep practicing, be kind to yourself, and celebrate every bit of progress you make. You're already doing amazing just by being here and practicing with us.
And that's it for part 2 of our series on practicing speaking skills. In the next episode, we'll talk about how to keep learning new words and expressions so you can expand what you can say.
Thanks for listening. Everyone, keep practicing, stay confident, and remember, you can do this.
Yes, building vocabulary is a big part of speaking English well. The more words and phrases you know, the easier it is to express yourself.
Absolutely, Linda. And we'll be giving you some tips on how to expand your vocabulary without feeling overwhelmed. Remember, learning new words doesn't have to be hard. It can be fun.
Exactly. And whether you're an elementary or intermediate learner, these tips will help you start adding new words to your daily speaking practice.
Okay, let's start with our first tip. Learn words from real-life situations.
Yes, this means learning words that are useful for your everyday life. Think about the things you talk about every day. Maybe it's your favorite food, your job, or your hobbies.
That's right. So, if you love cooking, learn some words for different ingredients or types of dishes. Or if you like sports, learn words like game, practice, or team.
Exactly. The words you use the most will be easier to remember because you need them often. It's practical and it helps you start speaking right away about things that matter to you.
And here's a bonus tip. Try to use the new words you learn as soon as possible. Even if it's just talking to yourself, using new words helps you remember them better.
Great point. Linda, don't wait to use new words. The sooner you use them, the faster they'll become part of your speaking skills.
Okay, here's our second tip. Practice new words in phrases, not just by themselves.
Yes, learning words in phrases or short sentences helps you understand how they're used in real conversations. For example, instead of just learning the word coffee, learn a phrase like, "Can I have a coffee, please?"
Exactly. Leo, phrases like, how are you today? Or I'd like a coffee help you sound more natural. And it's easier to remember words when they're part of a phrase you can actually use.
That's so true. Learning words this way also helps you with grammar without even thinking about it. You learn how words fit together naturally.
Yes, and if you're learning on your own, try writing down phrases instead of single words. For example, if you're learning the word morning, try writing good morning or this morning I.
Great idea. Linda, writing helps you remember and it gives you a chance to practice using the new phrases you've learned.
Our third tip for expanding your vocabulary is to learn synonyms. A synonym is a word that means the same or almost the same as another word.
Yes, this is really helpful. For example, instead of always saying happy, you could use other words like glad or joyful.
And learning synonyms helps you sound more fluent because you can say the same thing in different ways. So instead of just saying, I'm happy, you could say, I feel joyful or I'm glad.
Yes, it also helps make conversations more interesting. When you know synonyms, you can use different words depending on how you feel or the situation.
Exactly. And here's a fun way to practice. When you learn a new word, try to find at least one or two synonyms for it. Then try using them in different sentences.
That's a great practice, Linda. You can also make a list of synonyms for common words you use a lot. It's a simple way to expand your vocabulary without feeling overwhelmed.
Now, here's our fourth tip. Use flashcards to remember new words and phrases.
Oh yes, flashcards are a fantastic way to practice. You can use physical flashcards, or there are many apps you can download that help you make digital flashcards.
Now, here's our fourth tip. Use flashcards to remember new words and phrases.
And remember, it's okay to start small. You don't need hundreds of flashcards. Just a few new words or phrases each week is enough. Little by little, you'll build a bigger vocabulary.
Yes, on one side of the flashcard, write the word in English. On the other side, write the meaning or a simple sentence with the word. Then, review your flashcards regularly.
Exactly. Flashcards are quick and easy to use, and they're a great way to keep learning even when you're busy.
That's right, Leo. And with flashcards, you can review words anywhere, even if you have just a few minutes, like when you're on the bus or waiting in line.
Yes, watching and listening to English songs, TV shows, or movies is a fun way to hear new words and phrases in action. You get to see and hear how people really speak.
Our fifth tip is something we think you'll enjoy, learn from songs, TV shows, and movies.
Exactly. For example, if you're watching a show and you hear a new word like exciting, you could pause and write it down. Then, you can look it up later and try using it yourself.
And you can pause, repeat, and even write down words or phrases you hear that you like or want to remember.
So true, Linda. And when you enjoy what you're watching or listening to, learning new words feels like fun, not work.
Yes, and this way, you're not just learning words. You're also learning the tone and emotion behind them. It helps you understand the feeling of the language.
And remember, learning new words is a journey. You don't have to rush or learn everything at once. Take your time, practice a little every day, and have fun with it.
Okay, everyone, we've talked about 5 tips for expanding your vocabulary today. Let's do a quick recap. 1. Learn words from real-life situations. Focus on words you need for everyday life. 2. Practice new words and phrases. Learn phrases instead of single words to sound more natural. 3. Learn synonyms. Try using different words that have similar meanings to expand your vocabulary. 4. Use flashcards. Review words regularly with flashcards to remember them. 5. Learn from songs, TV shows, and movies. Hear new words in real-life conversations.
That's right, Linda. So keep going, everyone. You're doing great, and we're here to cheer you on.
Yes, be patient with yourself and celebrate the small wins. Every new word or phrase you learn is another step towards speaking more confidently.
Yes, and if you want to hear more from us, stay tuned for our next series, where we'll talk about listening skills and understanding native speakers.
Thank you for joining us, our series on practicing speaking skills. We hope these tips help you feel more excited and ready to keep learning. Thanks again, everyone. Remember to keep practicing, stay positive, and enjoy the journey of learning English.